Like, we don't see him. And, sometimes a lot of people might think, like, not sometimes, all the time.
Yeah.
There's people that are like, you're crazy. Like, how are you, like, why are you wasting your time, going to church and doing all this stuff when, like, God might not even exist? Like, no one has seen him. Like,
there's no proof in their own opinion. Like, even Stephen Hawking himself, they did an interview on CNN, and he said there is no God. Heaven is a fairy tale.
Yeah.
That's a story made up. And this is, like, a very well-known physicist, And it's crazy to think, like, that's what he said.
Yeah, I can't. I, like, really like Stephen Hawking, except for that part. Like, I just think, like, I respect him, as a, what is he called?
Genius.
Well, yeah, physicist, and he's something else. I can't remember the word. But I just think, like, man, this man knows so much.
Yeah.
And how can you not believe that there is a God? Like, knowing all that, I mean, like, just me, sometimes by simply just looking at the stars, I'm like, wow, like, God is real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he knows all the, like, so much. How can you not believe?
I think it's like Stephen Hawking might have a lot of intelligence, but he lacks wisdom.
Yeah.
And God has given us that gift that even though we're not physicists, and even though we have a PhD and all these different degrees, we have faith. Something that Stephen Hawking,
which is much
doesn't have, which is much greater than all those years of school.
So, like this man, there's lots of people that, they want to understand. They want to use, like, their intellect. They want to see, like, evidence, proof, like, to know God, to know that He is real. Did you have a question?
I had a comment, I think, like, since he's, like, a physicist.
I can't really hear you, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, I think because he's, like, into science and everything, like, science, like, they always want proof, they want evidence for him, like, oh, yeah, God exists, but, like, we might not see him, but he is real. And he's thinking of science and not...
Yeah, exactly. Like, they want to be able to test something and see the results. If they don't have, like, the results that confirm the hypothesis, they're going to say, like, oh, no, like, this can't be true.
That's
Sorry.
But we need to understand that God is not a science. This is something else. This is faith.
Yeah, something much greater. And that's, what our God wants us to have. He wants us to have faith. It's even greater than, it doesn't matter how much you know. You can be Stephen Hawking and know, like, so much. But if you don't have faith, then
you don't have anything.
Yeah, you don't have anything. So, sometimes, say, people want to be able to understand, like maybe there's some people that kind of, like, they believe, how do I say it?
They're skeptical.
Yes, skeptical. They kind of want that proof and they want to understand, and they say, well, once I kind of have, like, I understand, then I'll believe. But God has much greater understanding than us. And I want to read Isaiah 55:8, and it says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than your thoughts." So what God is saying here is that His thoughts are higher than ours, meaning, like, like when you say something, like when you tell your little brother or something, like, oh, I'm so much smarter than you, I'm like this much smarter than you. You kind of show them like this much. This is pretty much what God is doing, except this is not like an exaggeration. He's really
this much.
Yeah, like He says, as the heavens are higher than the earth. So He's giving us a distance in space. He says from earth all the way to heaven, which is well beyond the sky, into the celestial bodies, natural objects visible in the sky. So He's saying from earth all the way to heaven. I haven't heard of anyone that has got to heaven in, like, a spaceship. So I'm assuming it is pretty far. It is super far, like well beyond, like, the third sky.
Yeah.
So right now I'm gonna get a little sciencey on you guys, and we're gonna
teach you some physics.
Yeah. Well, it's actually not. It's really easy. You guys are gonna do some math, but
simple.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys numbers on there, so you don't have to do any of the work.
Don't worry. You're all at school right now. You can handle some of this.
Yes. Okay, so I want to illustrate how big this space is. So we have the first slide up there. So this is how I'm going to show you. The thickness of this paper, this just one, is equivalent of 93 million miles. So just imagine, this right here is 93 million miles. Alright, which is the distance from Earth to the Sun. And I have an illustration up there. You can see where Earth is and the Sun is. It looks pretty close up there, but I'm sure it is pretty far. So it would take a stack of 70 feet high to represent the distance from the Sun to the nearest star Alpha Centauri. Is that the next slide up there?
So 70 feet high of a page.
So 70 feet high. This is like 3 pages already, and it is not even an inch. These 3 pages would equal 279 million miles. So now imagine a stack 70 feet high. I don't even think this is 70 feet high. And then to count every single page and then multiply that by 93 million miles, that's
70 times 93 million.
That is a lot. Well, no, not 70 because 70 feet.
70 feet.
So every page
That's
is,
right.
Yeah, I did the math and then I was like, wait, this is wrong. Yeah, so that is a lot. And that's barely from the Sun to the nearest star. That's not even as high as the Earth is in the heavens. Okay, so next slide. So our solar system is in the Milky Way galaxy. So how many stacks of paper would we need? How big of a stack of paper would we need to represent the diameter of the Milky Way? It would need to be 310 miles high.
Of paper?
Yeah, of paper. And that's like from LA to San Francisco. Yeah, because that's like 347 miles. Yeah. So,
of paper.
Yeah, and imagine counting every single page
and multiplying that page.
Yeah, by 93 million miles. That's just our galaxy. Can you go up to the next slide? So that's our galaxy, and you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on there it shows where our solar system is, and that's tiny.
That's just one galaxy out of
That's
many
just one.
galaxies that there is. It's almost like, I know this is a little bit irrelevant, but have you guys seen Men in Black where there's the cat's holding the galaxy on his collar?
I was thinking about that today. Like,
right?
I remember reading that video because,
And it's funny because it's a little ball like this big, and it's on the cat's collar as a keychain type thing. And it goes, the camera goes view into the little ball, and it has a whole solar system in there. And then you really start thinking, how big am I if that cat was wearing a whole universe?
Yeah.
And the Bible even says, that God holds us, the earth in the palm of His hand.
So, like I was saying, and this is not even as far as the heavens are from the earth. That's just our galaxy. And God is saying, that's how much higher my thoughts are than yours. And we say, I want to understand. How are we going to understand God when His thoughts are so much greater than us, than ours? And people are trying, with their science. And today I was actually watching this video, and this girl, she's talking about intelligent design. How, this is not like a cause of evolution. There was someone behind it. She's a Christian, and she's talking about how it couldn't have just happened. God created us. And I was reading on the comments, and one person commented what century are you in? We are so much advanced. Who believes in God anymore? There is no evidence in science that could be possible.
Yeah.
And when have we seen God?
But I think the thing is, when it comes to faith, the true Christian sees God in everything.
Yeah.
Because you can see God in what He does with people.
Yeah.
And that's what they can't see. They're seeing, measuring all these things with science and trying to make it happen, but people don't see outside of the box.
And that's the amazing thing. We might not physically see Him, but like you said, we see Him in everything.
Yeah.
You might be, just driving in your car. Sometimes I'm like, wow, just looking at the clouds and just how things are, just looking around you, you see God,
Yeah.
There's no way that this could have just happened. And I don't understand how other people, say like, well, it's not possible. But like I said, they don't have God. They're not going to see things the way we don't have that faith.
And that's just like one segment of faith, because faith there's so many different topics around to it. There's believing in God and also knowing what God can do and the miracles that He does in our lives. And imagine if they don't believe in God, they don't believe in miracles. And that's just really sad, because then you can't have something happen in your life if you don't believe that God can do that for you.
Yeah, they're missing out on those blessings. So I want to go to the next verse. It's John 20:29, and it says, "Then Jesus told them, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed." So Jesus' disciples, they were around him, and they saw him, do these great miracles. They saw his glory, and we're here and we don't see him, and yet, we're worshiping him, and we're not doing any of this in vain. We're doing it for God. And he's saying, blessed are you that
believe.
Yeah, you don't even see. And I think, like, wow, that is, I don't know, it's like an honor, like how great, like,
I've always thought of that.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt kind of good, like, I believe in you, God. I didn't have to see.
You didn't have to see.
Yeah.
I mean, but either way, we still get to see his miracles,
Yeah.
But sometimes people will say, like, oh no, it's just coincidence.
Yeah.
Or,
Or there are those people that also want to believe in, like, they need to see, like, a cross, or they need to see an idol or something in order to have some sort of faith.
Yeah.
As to where we don't have to see a cross. We don't have to depend on having a Buddha or a Virgin Mary or whatever it might be. We depend on what we believe in, that's a living God within our own lives. It's like we don't have to see him because we can feel him. I think that feeling something speaks more for itself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
because a lot of people can see, but that might not be real. But when you feel something, you're like, wow, I personally know that God is real.
Yeah. So I want to go to the next verse. It's Hebrews 11:6. And it says, "And without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." So it isn't like, I'm talking about faith and believing in God, that he is real, but believing is not enough. Anyone can say they believe in God. There's so many people that say, yeah, I believe in God, but yet, do they seek him? Here it says that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. And I think that's very important for us, as Christians, that, we've been here for a long time, we believe and stuff, and, we might do lots of stuff here at church, but are we truly seeking him? Are we showing him that we believe? We can just say that we believe, but we need to show him.
There was this, my mom told me the story of this young man that she had spoken with, who he was studying a different kind of medicine. It was alternative medicine. And he had so much belief in this. And pretty much what alternative medicine is, it's different ways to get cured from cancers or different diseases by using natural ways that really cure people. And he believed in it so much. He was studying this, he was going to dedicate his life to this, and there was this other lady that was older who had been teaching this throughout the world. And what my point is when you believe in something, when you really believe in something, you go after it. You study, you sit down, you read, you teach, you talk about it, right? When you believe in something, when you have faith, and you think that this is going to work, this is going to help people, this is going to save lives, you go out there. And you can see that faith in that person and what they believe by how they talk. And sometimes the way that we talk about God isn't very believable.
No, exactly. It's just like, there's so many people out there, they're fighting for a cause. This is what we believe in, and we're going to speak out, no one's going to stop us. And, where are us? We believe in God, and we're not doing our job, I don't feel. At least myself. I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah.
If, like you're saying, if we believe, but what are we doing? How are we showing it?
Yeah.
And moving forward, I just, like you were saying earlier, we want miracles to happen in our lives, but sometimes they don't happen because of the lack of our faith.
Yeah.
I know sometimes, like I'll be at home and my arm will start hurting, because sometimes I get the most random pains, like in my shoulder or in my knee, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to pray to God that he takes it away.
You pray for yourself?
Yeah. I will too. The other day I was doing that, I was like, oh, no one thinks I'm a weirdo because I'm over here and you're like, yeah, so, like, I'll start praying too. And it's a good thing you guys get me. Yeah, so,